Radha Kanta Namastute. Saptakanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishvanuste Devi Pranamami Haripriye. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advait Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. नमां विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी नाम्ने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे. Persons who fully surrender at the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and always think of His lotus feet are accepted and recognized by the Lord as His own personal assistants or servants. The Lord never bestows upon such servants the brilliant opulences of the upper, middle, or lower planetary systems of this material world. When one possesses material opulence in any of these three divisions of the universe, his possessions naturally increases enmity, anxiety, mental agitation, pride, and belligerence. Thus, one goes through much endeavor to increase and maintain his possessions, and he suffers great unhappiness when he loses them. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 6th canto, which is called as the prescribed duties for the mankind, chapter 11, which is called as the
transcendental
qualities of Rudrasura.
The transcendental qualities of Vritsasura. Ironically, the name of the chapter is Transcendental Qualities of Vritsasura, where Vritasura is an asura and Indra is a demigod. So that's like very ironic, right? So who is speaking this verse? Who is speaking this verse?
Rudrasura is speaking to Indra.
Very nice. Vritsasura. Now Indra looks like his heart is in doubt whether the thunderbolt will work or not, because his club that he threw towards Krishna, towards Vritsasura, didn't work. It didn't work. On the contrary, sorry, Hare Krishna, his elephant was injured and was pushed back 14 yards. So now he's doubtful whether this will work or not. And Vritsasura is a Vaishnava, and he has no doubt whether thunderbolt will work or not. He knows it will work. So he's trying to encourage Indra not to doubt, but to rise and throw that thunderbolt on him so that he can get liberated free from this material bondage in the form of the material body and go back to whom? Back to Godhead, where he really wants to be at this time. So we are seeing that, you see, that the Vritsasura is encouraging Indra to use the thunderbolt against him. Now, if somebody is not a devotee, this particular conversation can sound like instigating the rival, right? Like instigating him to fight. And that is not coming from the place of Krishna consciousness. So, but because this is a conversation which has a foundation in Krishna consciousness, this is described by Sukdev Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj at the ultimate time of his life, and is now in the parampara has been given to us to read after so many millions of years of this event that happened. So it is important that we understand that when the two people are having a conversation, is the foundation of the conversation laid in Krishna consciousness, or is there something else going on? So here we are made clear by Vritsasura that this particular thunderbolt is going to actually help him go back to whom? Back to Godhead. And Indra will get what he asked for Krishna, right? He asked opulences, his opulence is back. Vritsasura asked the devotional service to Krishna back. So both of them are going to get what they both wanted. But actually, who's going to get benefited more? Vritsasura will get benefited more. In fact, Prabhupada is writing that Indra will rot in this material world, right? He's writing that Indra would rot in this material world. So even Indra would rot in this material world. So it says Krishna is not ekantaka bhakta, one who is satmika buddhi or tivra bhakti, who is doing all this kind of devotional service to Krishna. Krishna is not going to give that person a place in anywhere in the material world. So we see that, devotees generally are poorer than the devotees of Vishnu, are generally poorer than the devotees of other demigods, because they have lost their place in the material world. So if you don't have your place in material world, you're going to be poor. But Krishna has opened up his door to bring this person back to his world, which is Goloka Vrindavan. So we need to have the eye. Prabhupada gives example of a cataract. It gives example of a cataract, that if somebody has a cataract, there may be the stages of cataract. Like in the early stage, things may appear hazy, and then later on, when the lens become very solidified, then one becomes blind sometimes. So we cannot see the things as they are because we have this cataract or curtain of material energy. And that is why we see somebody as rich, somebody as poor, somebody is happy, somebody is unhappy, somebody as a leader at a very high post, very rich, very enjoying life, and somebody rotting on the street. So I'm not saying that this differentiation doesn't exist. Material modes of nature are creating this differentiation. Three modes of material nature are creating this differentiation. This differentiation does exist. There may be a person who is spending like 1 lakh rupees on their one meal, and then there's this person who can't even meet two meals of a day and sitting on the side of a footpath. So material modes of nature are creating this differentiation. But the thing is that if we bring that differentiation that we are learning in the material modes of nature to see how the devotees are situated, then it is not going to do any good to us. When we come to a devotee and we see that, oh, this devotee is just living in rags, like six Goswami, Taktate Namashesha Mandalapati. So they were Mandalapatis, but then they Taktya Tur Namashesha, they just gave it up and they adopted the lifestyle of a mendicant. So if we bring this differentiation that we are learning in the three modes of material nature into our Krishna conscious practice, and then we start applying the same thing in our Krishna conscious practice, say, oh my goodness, that person was so rich, now they have become a mendicant. So maybe that's why they have taken to Krishna consciousness, because there is nothing remaining. No, they took to Krishna consciousness, that's why they became mendicant, not the other way. Not because first they became mendicant and then they went to God. No, they went to God first and then. And it was a very informed decision. It was not out of a sentiment. So, but we don't have that vision. We lack that particular calibration of vision where we can see that who is who, because we are so allured by the external. We're so allured by how the person looks externally. Externally, if that person is sitting on a high post or Brahma or Indra or, owner of a 2000 rupees, 2000 crores rupees company, or, owner or has like 10,000 crores of rupees worth investments. So it increases, somehow it increases the cost of or the value of that person. But in terms of Krishna consciousness, it is teaching us in this particular verse, teaching that Indra is going to get his kingdom back. And Vitsasura doesn't even care about it a bit. He doesn't. Because see, if Vitsasura was going to be the winner in this war, then Vitsasura will be getting to rule the heavenly planets. Right? But Vitsasura is not even caring about that kingdom, because he knows that whether I live in Indralok or in Brahmalok or in Patal wherever I live, I'm going to be repeating the birth and death of the cycle, because I'm going to get a material body and the body will make me entangled. Our entanglements are because of the body we are in. Every species of life is like that. So why do I make that choice? I'm going to make a choice that I get a spiritual existence back with Krishna, and there I will enjoy. The bottom line is I need to enjoy. Indra wants to enjoy in the material world in his Indralok. Vritsasura wants to enjoy in the spiritual kingdom in Krishna consciousness. So it's the taste or the kind of enjoyment that we are making that we are choosing is what defines where we are situated. And one needs to be utterly honest in their own consciousness. It doesn't make one less of a devotee if somebody still has a material desire. All of us have it. I was listening to Prabhupada's class. Prabhupada was saying when somebody has a material body, it means that they are condemned. The presence of a material body itself means that they are condemned. He gave example, if somebody is in the prison house, it means that they have done something that they're in the prison house. So the presence of a material body itself. Now we are not bound. We are not, this is not like a unchangeable phenomena. First, understand that this conversation is not happening on the platform of a general talk or, to like warriors talking and inciting each other to war, to fight. No, it is happening in terms of fully Krishna conscious behavior. Okay, with Sasura is encouraging Indra and actually is helping him increase his faith in Krishna's power by not doubting the potency of the thunderbolt. And he wants this thunderbolt to touch his body so that he can leave this Asura body and go back to Krishna. Indra wants this because he will win over with Sasura and then he will rule the kingdom. Understand that this is not a material war. This is a spiritual arrangement by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But also understand that Krishna does not want this. Krishna wants both. Krishna would be more happy if Indra also comes back. But he's not going to interfere with the choices that we are going to make. Indra is going to introspect when Vitsasura is going to speak more and more about it. Indra is going to raise this question that how come he knows so much Krishna consciousness. Okay, now the other point that Prabhupada is making in this that, by nature, the possessions that one gets in the material world, upper, middle, lower, one gets high possessions, that leads to these qualities: enmity, anxiety, mental agitation, pride, and belligerence. Don't doubt this. This is Srimad Bhagavatam speaking. Don't doubt it. Okay, anybody gets any material opulence in any form. It could be riches, it could be fame, it could be power, it could be widespread education. It brings all these things. All these things come along with it. Now, does Krishna explain this in Bhagavad Gita? Yes, in many places. Krishna says this, right? I was reading this. Ye hi samsparshaja bhoga dukkha yonaya evate. So yoni also means womb or a place of procreation and womb. Okay, so what does it mean is that in the womb, in the objects that are giving us enjoyment, by the virtue of one's karma, whatever sense objects have been brought forth in the vision of that particular living entity in their lifespan, and it gives a sense of enjoyment, that particular object in that womb of that happiness, the distress is taking birth. So that object that comes by virtue of karma, in its womb, the unhappiness or the distress is taking birth. So same thing. And that is what it is said here. Right? That when one possesses material opulence in any of these three divisions of the universe, his possessions naturally increase enmity, anxiety, mental agitation, pride, and belligerence. It says naturally increase. Means that the same position that is supposed to give me a sense of happiness, in the womb of that happiness, these things are taking birth. These things are growing. Okay, so this is so important to understand. I heard this class from Sam Bhagwan Keshav Maharaj, who was explaining that yoni also means a womb. Krishna says, "The sarva yonishu kanteya sambhavo murtayo hi saha." I am the giving father of all the yonis or species. So that is the meaning. I'm not saying that one should not try for becoming for bringing oneself up in one's standard or staircase of life, in career, in personal life or societal life, wherever. I'm not saying that. I'm saying a devotee is very watchful, okay? Because the devotee is not bound by the ropes of karma anymore. It's very watchful that, okay, now this thing has been brought in front of me. Now, what am I going to do with this? I have this big house. What am I going to do with this? Am I going to, increase the objects of my senses? Or am I going to increase the practices which will increase my strength in Krishna consciousness? Or something is taken away. It's not easy. Both are not easy. When something is brought forth and something is taken away, both are not easy. But generally, we feel that when something is taken away, that's more, that creates more misery. Maybe that's true. But the thing is that then also a devotee introspects. Now, this has happened to me. So, what am I going to do? Am I going to succumb to the lower modes of material nature and become depressed, repressed, lamenting all the time, hankering for what I once had or once I want? Or am I going to increase or intensify my journey towards back home? Because whether I get something, whether I lose something, I'm going to die. My time is very limited. I am going to die. This body will end. This body is going to end. This is a expiry date when it comes in existence. We just don't know what that expiry date is, so don't take it for granted. I'm not trying to scare myself or anyone here. It is a reality. It's a reality that the Shastras tell us. So the and Prabhupada is saying that sometimes a devotee might also appear very rich, but that richness is brought forth by the Supreme Personality of Godhead to facilitate the devotee's devotional service. It is not that they're going to increase their own comforts of life and forget Krishna. Is that there will not be a forgetfulness in Krishna consciousness. That particular opulence will actually intensify the Krishna's remembrance by increasing the means of executing devotional service for that person and also inviting others into it. So understand that this is not a conversation between two karmis. This is not happening at the mental platform or material platform. This is a conversation springing from Krishna consciousness. And understand that Vritsasura is completely detached. He's waiting that he wants to go, and Indra is attached. That doesn't make one higher, one lower. I'm not saying we're not, it makes different. The different kinds of devotees makes one different. Okay, it makes one different as to how one wants to execute one life. I think I'll stop here. Any questions, reflections, realizations, corrections, complaints?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu. Krishna.
It's a wonderful class in the sense. Actually, God will fulfill the intense desire of a person, whether he is devotee or a karmi. That is what is proved with Vrittasara and Indra, I think. Indra was trying to take care of his heaven and wants to save his position, and Vrittasara wants to leave that